Well, the NBA draft is still, give or take, 6.5 months away. Thoughts, views, and opinions on the top of that draft are starting to take hold. The number one recruit in the class, Cooper Flagg at Duke University, is living up to all of the expectations.
He's been really damn good.
He is currently leading Duke in points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, literally everything. He has been that good. The very impressive thing that he has done is that his highest scoring, his highest output, his most efficient nights have come against the number 19 Kentucky Wildcats, the number 17 Arizona Wildcats, the number 1 Kansas, and number 2 Auburn. He has shown up at 17 years old and delivered on all of the very lofty expectations this season. He is currently leading again Duke in all of the counting stats. 16 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks.
Pretty good.
Pretty damn good.
But Dylan Harper is really damn good at Rutgers.
Rutgers currently not the level of prestige at 7-4, but him and Ace Bailey, the true freshman, the number 2 and number 3 recruits in this class, who both committed to Rutgers at roughly around the same time, are carrying all of the burden all the way. Dylan Harper is currently leading all freshmen in scoring at just under 24 a game, 23.5, 4.8 rebounds, 4.4 assists, so basically 24, 5, and 4 for a Rutgers team shooting 52, 36, 76. Dylan Harper, for me, was ahead of Ace Bailey on my board. There is just something about him on the mental aptitude side, the feel, the son of Ron Harper, the generational stuff that it tends to impart to guys more often than not. Like, even though Jabari Walker is going to be kind of an end of a rotation player, he has known that from the jump. There was no illusions of grandeur. He knew he was going to be a role player, and so he conditioned himself to be a role player. Dylan Harper is conditioning himself to be the best version of himself, but understanding what he needs to do, how he needs to do it, and where he can go. He is not the most explosive athlete you'll ever see, but I was talking to a GM that was in town playing the Blazers, I want to say 3 weeks ago, talking about Harper. He had just gone to Las Vegas and seen him. And he said something very interesting to me. He knows how much I love Brandon Roy. And he asked if I thought he reminded me of Brandon Roy. And I said, yes, he does. It's like he does the least amount possible to get the most done. It's not hezzy, tween, step here, step there. It's the least amount of effort required. It's an economy of motion, right? And that shows mastery at a very young age. Now, Harper, again, he's not John Morant or Russell Westbrook with his athleticism, but when he needs to turn it on, he can get by anybody. And there's this discussion now, could Dylan Harper be the number 1 overall pick? As it stands right now, there are 3 players that could be the number 1 overall pick. It's Cooper Flagg, and I would put most GMs, like if you're doing the circles, the concentric circles of like who guys have, the straw poll would have Cooper Flagg number 1. Number 2 would be Dylan Harper among most. Ace Bailey still has his supporters because he's 6'10" with a ratchet. Like, the guy can. The criticism of him is that he takes difficult shots, but you know what he does, Dusty? He hits difficult shots.
Yeah.
And there's something about that. Now, which it's very much eye of the beholder type stuff. But this past draft class, 2024, we all talked about how it's not good. It's living up to it being not good. This
it really
2025
isn't,
class,
Steph Castle is probably your rookie of the year right now.
Yeah, because Jared McCain's likely done for the season. I mean, Dalton Connect's been fine.
Yeah.
Reed Shepherd doesn't really play. Zach Edey has been in and out with injury, and he's been ups and downs. It's going to be, honestly, pretty difficult to pick the rookie of the year. But this next class looks truly special. We haven't even mentioned Kasparas Yakashionis, who's at Illinois, who looks incredible. Looks like a pocket-sized Luka Doncic. 6'4", built like a truck, strong as hell, gets to the free throw line like you wouldn't believe. But it's nice to have the narrative. It's not that Cooper Flagg hasn't been great. He's been tremendous. It's that Dylan Harper has elevated up to that point.
In that, when you hit the game winner in the way that he did over the weekend, that's like where you go, oh, okay, that's big time. It's a big time shot, big time moments. And like Cooper Flagg, I think for a lot of the casual basketball fans, they opened up their eyes to him watching the Kentucky game. And he was 2 turnovers in the final 2 minutes. That kind of was that lasting impression where I think the only thing that a lot of people have seen of Dylan Harper is averaging 24 points a game.
Getting buckets.
And absolutely burying one at the buzzer to beat Seton Hall.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, as impressive as Dylan Harper has been, Duke has played number 19, number 17, number 1, and number 2.
Yeah.
In 10 games.
And Dylan Harper shot 30% against a top 20 team in Texas A&M.
And
toughest game of the year so far.
well, no, they had Alabama before that, where he did have 37 points.
Oh yeah.
That is his best performance of the year is 11 of 19. Got to the free throw line 16 times.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing. Like he's gotten to line double digits twice this season. He's gotten to line more than 5 times. What's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 7 times. So he's been very efficient about getting to the line, which is one of those traits that kind of pushes forward. But I have talked to multiple people in the NBA about best player available and what should Portland do if they get there and they get the number 2 overall pick. Cooper Flagg is off the board. Would you take Dylan Harper if Dylan Harper is indeed the best prospect?
Yes.
Knowing you have Scoot Henderson and Shaden Sharp.
Yes. Take the best player. They're not in a position to take anybody at this point and pick and choose. No, you take the best damn player.
Yes. And that is there will be people here, if that happens, that will go, oh my God, another guard. Well, what about Scoot? What about, it's like, it doesn't matter because you still haven't found the guy.
No.
And if you think Dylan Harper can be the guy, you take Dylan Harper. If you think Ace Bailey is a better prospect, if you think he's a better prospect, take him. But don't just take him because he's 6'10".
Yeah.
Like this.
My thing is don't take the wrong guy.
Look, in the last
Don't take the
You
wrong
know what
way.
you should do? Take that guy that leads you to a championship. I don't know why.
Hey.
I don't know why more teams don't do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Why didn't people take Giannis?
It's like in football. Why don't you just call the touchdown play every time?
Yeah. Come on. What are we doing here?
Did you see the Rachel Nichols interview with Giannis?
No.
Nichols brought up that Dirk Nowitzki was in the draft room with the Mavericks when the Mavericks were picking, and Dirk told Cuban to not take him because he's too skinny. And Dirk said, "Yeah, I'm a terrible GM. I would
end up wrong on that."
Yeah, would not have taken him." And Giannis kind of laughed. He's like, "Look, I appreciate him because it got me to the spot where I won an MVP and won a title, and I've kind of been like him because he opened the door for European players to play the game that they want to play."
Yeah. Their style, their way. Yeah.
So, but as it pertains to the draft, we're getting to prove it season because you're getting to the point where this is what I said with Donovan Clingan. Right now, the Blazers they're 8-18. Okay, 4 more games they've played 30 games. You know how many games Duke has played at this point?
No.
10.
Oh.
10.
That seems off.
But that's the college basketball schedule. You only play like 2 a week,
That's crazy.
if that. And so this is now when we get into prove it season, which is the ugly part of the season, which is the conference play, where it gets difficult night in, night out. And in the ACC, it's tough.
It's going to be a grind.
And it's going to be interesting to see how this looks. And I would encourage folks coming up here in February, I believe it's February. Yeah, February. If you're a Ducks basketball fan and you want to see Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper play,
Rutgers.
get down to Oregon Rutgers in February. I'll be down there along with about 4,000 scouts.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. That would be February 16th.
16th. It's during All-Star Weekend, I believe. That's why I can actually go down there for that.
All right.
But it's heating up.
It is.
As
it's
it
going to
were.
be fun. It'll be interesting to see how this conversation changes. I wanted to check in on it, though, because right now it's just been Cooper Flagg, Cooper Flagg, Cooper Flagg. Now you're starting to see legitimate buzz over Dylan Harper, and I think that it's going to be interesting to see how this conversation evolves. And I think it's good to have these conversations throughout the course of the year so people aren't just sitting there when it come draft lottery time going, well, I thought if you don't win the lottery, you're screwed. Well, no, Dylan Harper's really damn good.
Yep.
Ace Bailey is really damn good, too.
And there might be some other guys that pop their way up here, whether it's Yegor Demon at BYU, Yakis Jonas at Illinois. It's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing shakes out.
All right.
I will say there's probably 9 players in this draft that I would take before anyone number 1 in last year's draft.
Dang.